Orlando City playing an MLS home game for the first time in 6 weeks this Saturday night against Nashville SC. We'll get you all set for it right here on 10 and 10. Let's put 10 minutes on the clock and get you prepped. Well, unlike the last couple of months, I can't actually start this with good news. For the first time since the end of June, Orlando City took a loss. That's number one. They fell 3-0 on the road to Sporting Kansas City. Maybe not as lopsided as the scoreline suggests. Early on in the game, Orlando were very strong, created some good opportunities. They actually won the expected goal battle in the match. Unfortunately, just like the Cruz Azul game in League's Cup, could not turn any of those chances into goals. End of the first half, Jake Davis gets the goal for Kansas City. And then it looked like Orlando were going to level the game, but Facu Torres can't make contact with the cross. Kansas City goes the full length of the field, the sort of goal that Orlando City very rarely concedes under Oscar Pareja. It gets in the back of the net for Daniel Shalhoub at 2-0. That was pretty much all she wrote. A red card for William Agata. Didn't do a whole lot to help Orlando's chances, and then Remy Voltaire put the third one in the back of the net late on to seal it for SKC, who have been on a good run of form lately, but still an opportunity missed for Orlando City with the three teams ahead of them all drawing in the race for the top four. For number two, I'm just going to turn it over to Oscar Pareja. Here were his thoughts on the performance at Children's Mercy Park.
Obviously, very disappointed result. A great opportunity for us to escalate on the standings and obviously continue with what we have had in the last few games. But definitely today was not a good day for us. We started the game sharp, had a few options to score. But after that, I thought we didn't have a good game. We were low in energy. I thought we didn't have the intensity that has characterized this group all the time. And obviously, we need to move on. Second half was heartless, but I didn't see us with that willingness that we all have. I take the responsibility of us, of course, the preparation of the group and the reactions after these 2 weeks. And today we didn't look the majority of the time like we are. So disappointed. We're going to review, but we have to move on and continue what is coming.
At number three, we should note an important milestone in the game in Kansas City. Cesar Araujo making his 100th career start in all competitions for Orlando in the game. Cesar went straight into the lineup upon signing a U22 initiative deal back in the winter of 2022, and he has not relinquished his place ever since. While he's been here in Orlando, he's been named to the 22 under 22 list that the entire league puts out of the best young players in MLS. He's also made his senior debut for the Uruguayan national team. Bright future ahead of young Cesar. 100 starts. Congratulations. So number four, we'll reset the Eastern Conference playoff picture for you with 8 matches to go. Kind of a good news, bad news situation for Orlando. Yes, they lost, and yes, they missed a chance to move up in the standings closer towards the top four, but the 3 teams they're chasing for that home playoff advantage in the first round, they all dropped points as well. The New York Red Bulls and Charlotte FC in 4th and 6th place respectively. They played each other and split the points. And New York City blew it late on, gave up a penalty kick to Brian Gutierrez of the Chicago Fire to drop 2 at home to a team lower in the table. So Orlando 8 points back of the Red Bulls with 8 matches to go. That's a hard mountain to climb, but still very much alive for home field. On the other end of things, Toronto FC picked up a win at Houston. They're just a point behind Orlando for 7th to avoid the play-in round, but Orlando does have a game in hand on the Reds. At number 5, Orlando City will be very happy to be back at Inter & Co Stadium. After a rocky start to the home slate, they have really turned things around in their own building. They're unbeaten in 6 overall, and in their last 4 games against MLS teams, including Montreal in the League's Cup, Orlando City has scored 14 goals, an average of 3.5 per game, and they have only conceded 4. Just a tremendous return in their last few home games. They've won 3 of those 4 games. We'll look to continue that run against Nashville this weekend.
Fabulous! Dwyer released to Torres!
So what about Nashville? It's the second time these two teams have played this year. They just met about 6 weeks ago on July 17th at Geodis Park. That one went pretty well for Orlando City. Take a look.
we see Nashville sitting in 9th place at the start of the night, just above the playoff line, facing an Orlando side in 7th, but starting to look like the contender that it was billed to be, seeking a 4th straight win tonight. The Lions clad in purple, Nashville in the electric gold as we're underway. For the free kick, Martino Ojeda. This ball hit it, and a 1-0 lead by Orlando. It is Araujo with the finish. And the Lions roaring early, and Nashville have taken a 1-0 lead. Anunga defending, commits the foul, and it's a free kick. This ball takes a deflection in. Second goal for Orlando City. They double the lead. And this place has gone quiet late in the first half. Enrique fires and scores! Ramiro Enrique rewarded for his efforts tonight. It is all over. Orlando City on the road, make it 4 straight wins, 5 victories in their last 6, and a convincing 3-0 win in Nashville.
Well, that was sort of a different era for Nashville. At number 7, we'll talk a little bit about their new head coach, B.J. Callahan. He was appointed and started for the League's Cup for Nashville, replacing Gary Smith on a permanent basis. You may remember B.J. Callahan from last year when he took charge of the U.S. men's national team on an interim basis while they were debating if they should rehire Greg Berhalter, which they ultimately did. But while in charge, Callahan won the CONCACAF Nations League for the United States, defeating Mexico in the semis and Canada in the final. He was the first U.S. manager to win his debut against Mexico since 1934 World Cup qualification. Not a bad feather to have in your cap. He's a Philadelphia guy, assistant for the Union for 6 years at Villanova before that. They'll try to turn that success over to Nashville, and they're going to need it. I say this because at number 8, we got to talk about Nashville's current form. They are on a 7-game losing streak in Major League Soccer play. They also did not get out of their group in League's Cup. Just a brutal run of form for Nashville, who are poised to miss the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. They've also had a brutal run against Orlando. The last 4 games, the Lions have beaten Nashville with a clean sheet. That includes a road game at the end of last year. Both playoff games, the two faced off in the first round of 2023, where Orlando swept Nashville out of the postseason, and the game back in early July. Orlando will hope to continue the misery for Nashville this Saturday night. So number 9, why has Nashville struggled so much? Well, in recent seasons defensively, they've been stossed out. This year, a lot leakier, but ultimately this team has gone as Hani Mukhtar has gone, and things have not gone well for him lately. He is scoreless, goals or assists, in his last 9 appearances. Nashville has lost every single one of those games, either in regulation or in penalties. And against Austin FC this past weekend, Mukhtar missed a penalty that would have put Nashville out on the front foot at home. They end up losing the match 2-0. If Hani Mukhtar gets back to his best, and he's been terrific against Orlando in the past with 7 goals and 5 assists, they could have a shot this weekend. But in those 4 games, he has been held very quiet, all of which Orlando has won.
It's gone into a 4-3-3. There's a lot more room. It's cleared through for Gallagher, and he scores for Austin. It's right into Gallagher. It's wide open, and Chatmore hasn't recovered after Nashville were up the pitch, and Gallagher. John and Mumbury, but they also have the game potentially in the balance because Macari's away. He's past Joe Willis. It's an empty net, and Macari scores his first goal in Major League Soccer.
And finally, at number 10, a little housekeeping because we weren't able to get to it on last week's show. If you haven't seen the news, Duncan McGuire has signed a long-term contract extension with Orlando City that will keep him in town through 2027 with an option for another season on top of that. It has been a meteoric rise for McGuire. It was an unknown just a few years ago. First onto the scene, winning the Herman Trophy as the best player in college soccer in 2022. Got drafted 6th overall by Orlando and has been sensational. 23 goals in just a season and a half as a professional, 6th all-time in Orlando City history. He's got a chance to do some damage. His next goal will tie him with Dom Dwyer for 5th. He's 2 away from catching Kaká in 4th. Congrats on the new deal, Duncan McGuire. We look forward to many more goals in purple still to come. All right, there you have it. Orlando City versus Nashville SC. This Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. on MLS Season Pass. We'll have live radio coverage in English on FM 96.9 The Game and the Lion Nation app beginning at 7.